Disclaimer: this video is of humorous nature only. The author does not seek to insult or humiliate anyone. The video may contain profanity. People under the age of 16 should refrain from watching this video. Story 1. My daughter, 17F, called me around midnight because she smoked cannabis for the first time, and she immediately started feeling anxious and regretful. I had mentioned in one of our discussions that it is possible that people become anxious paranoid if they react badly to cannabis. Because she was panicking, I, 55, made her had to go pick her up and calm her down, telling her she was going to be okay, etc. I told her, "Your mouth will feel dry. You will feel that time slows down. You may twitch a bit, nothing scary, don't worry." But the thing is, I was high myself from edibles on this slow Saturday night, but she never figured out that's why I knew so much about cannabis. Story 2. I have a hard time talking to people and making friends. I feel lonely sometimes and burnt out. I haven't been eating the best and just sleep. Lay on my bed scrolling for hours until I get tired. I wish I had a solid group of friends, but I'm staring to realize that I think I need to know more about myself first in order to deserve that connection. Story 3. I can't think of literally any job that I would be happy doing for 40 hours a week or more. I have a career, and I'm successful in it, but I certainly don't enjoy it. Even dream jobs, zookeeper, forestry, owning a business, etc., pale in comparison to spending quality time with my wife, doing things we enjoy. I had a dream job working in one of my passions, and instead of making the work enjoyable, it turned the passion into work and ruined it for me. I get depressed about this often, as it makes me feel lazy or like a loser, because I'm not content in any career path. I don't want to spend my life doing any job, but of course, I will to provide for my family, and because I'm not someone who shuts down or gives up. Story 4. When I was 15, I brought my 16-yo GF home. My bed frame's weight limit was 200 pounds, so we couldn't do it on my bed. We did it on my parents' bed, which was a queen-sized bed while my parents were out for work. Later that week, my mother found my GF's hair in the room, and she knew it wasn't hers somehow. She confronted my dad about it and got into a huge fight. At the time, I didn't know what was going on. My dad just kept telling me my mom was acting crazy. And my mom wouldn't tell me what happened, just that my dad is a piece of crap. They both got divorced shortly after. Almost 15 years later, I met my dad with his new family, etc. My mom got remarried as well. We reminisced about the old times, and he finally told me what really happened that day. My heart sank. I couldn't tell him the truth. I'll never forget the feeling. It was the worst feeling ever, like I couldn't describe it. It was my fault. My parents got divorced. Story 5. I'm entering interview 4 of 7 for a job I am underqualified for. So I spent the time between interviews just rapidly taking Coursera classes in every subject mentioned in the job posting and used ChatGPT to help me study the subjects and form answers to likely questions, so I sound like an expert. Story 7. One of my worst intrusive thoughts are flashes of the rotting bodies of deceased family members. I hate the feeling of realizing they are just down there, alone, rotting away. I tried to convince myself of that hippie crap. It's a process of coming back to Earth. They are the Earth. But all I can think about when looking at my aunt's portraits is that she's just a skeleton wearing a white dress now. Duck. Story 8. I have a supportive family. I work my dream job. I have an amazing car and an amazing home. And I still feel no inner happiness or self-love. And I've been trying to figure out how to love myself again and feel happy from the inside. But it's been so hard that I think I've accepted. I'll always just be sad despite how hard I've worked for the life I have, despite the amazing family I have. I've accepted I will never know how to feel happy within. It scares me at night. Story 9. I've had a swallowing disorder for going on 4 years that I can't get over. I've had tests done on my brain and throat, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with me. But when I try to eat food, I just have a huge fear of choking. I still eat. It just takes me forever to do so. I'm completely fine with liquids. 2 theories as to why I have this. Both of these incidents took place really close to each other. First, I was eating a salad and accidentally swallowed a huge piece of lettuce that I failed to chew enough. I didn't choke, but it was the slowest swallow ever. I could feel it in my throat, just slowly moving down. Scared me so bad. The second was a botched sauced attempt, a failed hanging. I went to the hospital and got a brain scan and my throat looked at and they said I was completely fine. I just want to eat normally again. The only time I can eat without being scared is when I'm drunk. I love eating when I'm drunk. I'll smash food in minutes that I'd otherwise be scared of eating sober. Story 10. I didn't think this be perfectly timed, many thanks. My dog Biko of 12.5 years will be put out down by euthanasia tomorrow, and my family had their hearts in the right place yesterday. It feels unreal and experiencing pet death. It's painful, yet beautiful. My little weird underbite of a Chewbacca. Wakshitsu Yorkie mix that's livid and adventurous life. Travel it across the states twice, Barketus orders of demands of walk, had several girl dogs swooning for him, made 2 litters of 13 puppies loved by everyone and blessed us with his patience, his cute little face, sleeping underneath the TV and watching along with whatever anime series gaming sessions throughout. Biko was named after a Filipino food, a sweet rice cake loved, fitting for the greatest emotional support dog. That was the puppy that fell asleep in my hoodie after a long day of fetching when our hearts was shatters and gaping after our previous dog passed. And one more time I want Biko to fall asleep when after a long day of activities, of visiting a dog park one last time, and dropping off for euthanasia one last time, enjoying each other's company one last time. Before you have to wait for us at the Across the Rainbow Bridge waiting for us, wait for us along with Clove the guinea pig and Baron the cocker spaniel. I wish I could do more, especially when I wish oh so dearly for him to stay. But we can't anymore. He's walking slower and appetite slower as well. I'm sorry I couldn't do anything to relieve the pain. From this day forward, I'm chasing dreams because of my shortcomings. I'll do my best, and I'll miss you always, Biko. Story 11. I have to travel away from my husband for 3 weeks, but I'm scared ASF. Despite being 28, I'm absolutely terrified to be without him, as I've grown way too comfortable having him around almost 247. I know it makes me sound like a codependent person, but I'm honestly really scared to leave him. And no, it's not that I want to. I need to go back to my home country to do a few important errands, and unfortunately it's hard to get a visa here, especially a tourist one when we're working on getting our marriage immigration visa. So he can't come with me to my home country just yet, meaning I have to go through this alone. I love my home country, but I've done this before, and it absolutely sucks. I am so scared to do it again. I know I'm a coward at all. Story 12. I have a scar on my penis from masturbating too vigorously when I was younger and tearing my foreskin. As I grew up and so did my Johnson, the scar formed down the underside of my shaft. Still works fine and everything, but I feel like a prawn version of a James Bond villain now, or a gangster called Scardick. Story 13. I got a job with a friend of mine a while ago. It's been almost a year and I have rarely spoken to any of my coworkers, except for her. Since I never talk to my coworkers, they know pretty much nothing about me. This all started a couple weeks ago, ever since I used the word partake ironically, when I asked one of the cooks if I could try one of the side dishes. The cook told the rest of the staff, and they all laughed at me. Since then, the friend who I work with has been straight up slandering me to my coworkers. She tells them things like, he's scared of women. Most of my coworkers are girls. I am not scared of women by any means. I just don't ever start conversations. If someone wants to talk to me, they have to start the convo. Now, my coworkers have started to say that I'm probably gay, which I am not. I am aintimate and aromantic. Usually, when doing cleanup tasks at the end of the day, everyone waits for everyone else to be done before they leave. But when I get one of the longer jobs, they all just walk out without me. They make plans for meetups between coworkers without involving me. They have a group chat with everyone except me in it, and my boss literally forgot to give me a page in the book where we request time off. It's like I don't even exist. And as much as I act like I don't care, Ducking hurts. Any chances of actually talking to my coworkers have been ducked up by my friend, who has them believing I'm scared of women. They all planned on going bowling, which leaves me with all the newer people who have no clue what the duck they are doing, and that led to me being talked about. They think I would be too awkward to go bowling. My friend knows damn well that I am a very different person outside of work. I just don't prioritize having fun when I'm getting paid to do my job. It's not a huge deal, but it still gets frustrating knowing that I'm effectively an outcast. Story 14. I'm an intimational violence counselor for men that have been intimationally assaulted or raped as children adolescents. 1. The average survivor is more likely to be treated like crap and experience isolation more so than the perpetrator. 2. If the High Court was able to access all the cases that the Catholic Church, Anglican Church, has covered up, the Christian Church as we know it would be abolished, and parents would never leave their children alone with another priest youth worker again. 3. Rape is genderless. It is not a girl problem. It is a child safety pandemic. 4. Most male victims will lose 80% of the people they love when they start to tell their story. 5. I wish I could advise victims not to tell their friends and family about their trauma. The shame and anxiety that follows hurts more than the incident itself. 6. 40% of survivors will either be attacked again or enter a domestic violence relationship if they don't seek help. 7. Perpetrators will do it again. 8. Women molest children as well. It's not just men. 9. As a culture, we have become so uncaring and selfish that if people took a moment to genuinely be there for their loved ones, people wouldn't feel so alone anymore. Get off social media wishing for the connections you don't have. Work on the relationships that you do have. Be there for the people you love. Fight for your friends and family. 10. Silence is what ends up killing the survivors. Story 15. This isn't anonymous since I use the same name I use for everything else, and it's basically my legal name. But my best friend is coming to town later this month, and he's a big fan of WoW. So I got him a silly gift, a Hearthstone keychain that I will tell him is attuned to my city, so he always has a way back, is always welcome, etc. Also, if my mom is reading this, IDK, why she would be. I love you and miss you, and I will always pick up the phone if you ever decide to call. I have no way of letting you know, and I don't know if your mom ever lets you know, but I ask her to tell you and give you my number. Story 16. That it's been 2 years since I broke up with my ex, but when I heard from a mutual friend that she started seeing someone new, it still hurts a lot, and I don't know how to stop thinking about it. And the problem is, I didn't care about her when I got to know she was pursuing someone, and he didn't pay her any attention. I actually enjoyed it, and I was happy when guys who weren't better than me approached her and broke her illusion that she was in a friend circle. But now that someone remotely as good as me is seeing her, for some reason I can't let go of the feeling of jealousy, anger, and hatred. Story 17. Out of nowhere, my left lower quadrant of my abdomen is hurting. And like it's gonna blow over, I'm sure, but also this could be it. Which is super weird. It's like you're male. Most of the time it's absolutely nothing, but 1% of the time it's something you're going to go to jail for because you missed it. Story 18. I'm honestly scared of how much I like the person I'm currently seeing. I'd been single for a long time, trying to get myself together after a couple long-term relationships that both failed for various reasons. But the theme they shared was that I was too depressed to be a good partner. Lately, I've been doing well, but I like this person. I'm seeing so much that I'm terrified of getting so sad again that I bring him down too. I'm taking all the steps I can to prevent or at least work through any future episodes, but the fear doesn't go away. Story 19. The only reason I'm not completely ducking broken from a recent traumatic breakup is because my ex-girlfriend's son, who chose me as his dad, still talks to me and wants me around. He's had a very rough childhood. I want to be strong, ready, and waiting for when he needs me to act if he needs to get away from his current situation. If not for that, I'd be a mess and wouldn't have left my room since Saturday. Had he not decided to stay in contact, I would have been absolutely destroyed, maybe even suicidal. I don't know if he will ever know how much he's helping me right now, but it's a lot to put on someone his age, so, for now, he can't know. At least, not for years. On a side note, I have no idea how my preferences are going to go from here. Being around women right now makes me anxious and uncomfortable. I've had a few anxiety attacks just by being near some, and I'm not the type to get them. I hope that'll change, but things will definitely be different now. Story 20. My father went to prison for a year for possession of C. Everyone knows, and somehow he has convinced everyone he's innocent. I have gone no contact with both my parents because of this. Now they're all saying I'm childish or overreacting. So many of my childhood memories are now tainted, so much of my future has to change. And it's so weird to bring up to other people. How do I explain all this to my girlfriend's parents if they ask? How do I explain this to my mother's relatives in Sweden if they ask? If he had just owned up and apologized to everyone and served his time normally, I think it would be all right. Better than now anyway. But he just became a different person in prison and doubled down hard. Getting older sucks, but at least I know who he really is now. Story 21. More than likely I'll be killing myself before 30. I have fibromyalgia, so I'm in chronic pain and fatigue 247. But that is not the actual reason I am no longer able to see a future for myself. Especially with me in it, every aspect of my life has been ripped from me. My mom is sick more and more often. My dad's a basket case. I'll have no friends once I leave where I am now and I return home. No love life whatsoever, etc., etc. All I have to look forward to is my condition worsening and any and all things and people I love dying or going away. I'm just so tired. I have done my service, and all I have left to do is tie up loose ends and complete my med board. Then I am going home to nothing. I just don't know anymore. Story 23. I have a sick, ominous feeling that the last two presidential terms, as stormy and controversial and dare say whatever else as they have been, will pale in comparison to the next one, regardless of the victor, both domestically and internationally. I don't want it to be true, but I can't picture it going any other way. Story 24. I've been a Redditor for over 12 years. My first account was Ukost, which I only ever made one comment on, that I accidentally sent out twice by double tapping. I only ever used it to browse, never participate. 5 years ago, my phone got stolen, and I never wrote down my password and couldn't remember it. So I lost that account. So I made this one. I'm shy. I've been browsing here for 4 years on this one. I've only ever made 3 comments in 4 years. All in the last 2 days. Lol. I'm shy and will probably delete these comments too. I'll probably comment in another 4 years. See you then. Story 25. I want to graduate with a degree in architecture and become rich like the men in my family, so that I can repay everything my mom has sacrificed for me. I want to be so wealthy that I can design a nice retirement house for her wherever she wants it to be. Get her all the things she's ever wanted in life and take her on lots of once-in-a-lifetime trips without her worrying about my financial situation, because those expenses wouldn't make much of a dent in my wallet. Whatever she wants, I'll get it for her without batting an eye because I know it'll make her happy. And if she misses me while I'm at work, I can take time off whenever I want so that I can spend lots of time with her. She's such a wonderful person that I would forever regret becoming someone less of what she deserves. Story 26. I feel nothing. Nothing excites me. I don't look forward to anything. I don't want to do anything, work or hobbies. I used to love my job, my hobbies and household work. Now, I just sit around waiting for night to come so that I can sleep to pass time. This has developing over the past 4 years. I am not going to kill myself, but I am looking forward to this being over. I take an SSRI and have tried no less than 5 other medications. I've also do plenty of counseling. I've spent a fortune on IV ketamine infusions. They seem to help me not get crazy low and dark. I just feel done. Like I have finished this quest and I'm just waiting for the end. Bored with everything. Story 27. I don't get crushes on people. I enjoy women in prawn, I guess, but I don't catch feelings for them in real life. I'm not gay either, because I don't get crushes on dudes. It sucks when everyone around me has a partner and an intimate life and I'm not even interested when I look at people I should find hot. Like I do, but not that much. Not enough to feel anything. Something has to be wrong with me. I'm 17 and I haven't dated anyone, kissed anyone, been interested in anyone. It's extremely lonely and I often wonder if I'll ever find someone to spend my future with, like a normal couple. I really hope my brain stops doing this because how come I want to date someone but can't even catch the feelings to be interested enough to ask? Story 28. I resent the fact that the model of success for most of us is work your butt off and get as much money as you can. Anything less than that, then you're lazy or a failure. I don't want to live to work. I want to work to live. The fact that most employers expect you to not have a life and be available at their whim is insulting to me. I'm sorry that I'd rather spend a day at the beach with my family rather than running to your beck and call because you need me. Well, so does my family. And sometimes I need me. That means more to me than the piddly amount of money you're going to give me to come in just to make sure you profit. Sorry, not sorry. Story 29. I am admittedly a lot more of a coward than I present myself as. I try to be stoic or confident because it's the image of myself I've needed in the past and feel socially obligated to maintain. Truth is, I'm ducking terrified and filled with anxiety most of the time. I feel like I can't show anyone who I really am, because if they see the real me, they'll look down on me. I only really showed one person who I was, and that took years of trust building. Said person is probably the best friend I'll ever have, but we had a falling out. I just wish I could have them back in my life. Story 30. I've been thinking of offing myself since I was 12. I didn't know it was called Suk D back then, but I would always say, I want to go home, even though I was at my house. My grandma was the first to know because she was there when I cried in my room while I repeatedly said I want to go home. I didn't understand why I used that specific sentence before. I'm a Christian, and I just thought of it as going home with the Lord to be at peace. Story 31. I lost my virginity to my brother's friend's mom that was 33-year-old. I was 16. I didn't realize I was molested till I was 30. I never looked at it that way. People always said, "You were raped," and I would joke and say, "You can't rape the willing." But molestation, that's an adult taking advantage of a kid, willing or not. Story 32. My Jeff loves Sansi and rape kink. I absolutely love it too, and I never did it before I met her. She loves being choked, and the amount of force I put into it shocks me. And she always wants harder choking. I would never tell anyone this, but the struggle is so hot and I'll never want another vanilla relationship again. This isn't even scratching the surface of what we do. Safely. Story 33. I wish to confess that every day I try to kill myself a little bit at a time so I can get off this world and join my husband in the afterlife. I know it's stupid, but I can't close the chapter of my life that was us. I did the until death do us part of our vows, but I'm hoping for some more time still. I know stupid me. Story 34. So much. I really want to start hitting the gym and build my self-confidence, but I don't have enough self-confidence to go alone. I used to go with my old coworkers at our previous job, but life had us all split ways, and now I feel alone. That was 4 years ago. The few friends I've made since then aren't the gym-going type. I do try to work out at home, but it doesn't feel the same as effective. I lose motivation because I honestly don't know what I'm doing. Story 35. I have depression just simply from having a job. I hate working and wish we could all just live happily and not have to worry about money and just focus on enjoying life. But responsibility gets in the way, and I have to survive. So I force myself to go to work, and while I'm there, I'm depressed and anxious to leave so I can focus on my passions and what I enjoy in life. Story 36. I constantly dream about losing weight and being skinny fit, but my mental health is so bad that I fail every time I attempt to lose weight. I have an awful relationship with food, and the stress of my job has caused me to overeat constantly and put on at least 50 lbs. In less than 2 years, I put out a public image of body confidence, but in reality, there are times I bawl in front of the mirror because I'm disgusted with what I see. Story 37. My sister is getting married on my anniversary, and I am so pissed off at her, but I can't say or do anything about it. This is just our dynamic. It's not either of our fault. My mom has been very candid about the fact that she had my sister to replace me because I wasn't cutting it. Kid-wise, still pissed off though. Thank you all for watching. Watch even more great stories on my channel.